edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the national airways of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM FM listing nearest you, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM, Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Whole bunch of stuff I'm going to get into today. The New York Knicks fired their head coach, David Fizdale, Friday night. Anthony Joshua regained 3 belts in the heavyweight division, beating Andy Ruiz, avenging a 7th-round TKO in their first match by unanimous decision in Saudi Arabia Saturday afternoon. Obviously, those 2 things I'm going to get into. Anthony Davis dropping 50 for the Los Angeles Lakers last night against Minnesota at the Staples Center. Is he the leading candidate for league MVP honors in the National Basketball Association? I will get into that a little bit later on in the show. Again, the number to call up is always 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. But there's a whole bunch of football to get into. First order of business. Contrary to those who want to believe it's Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, they are not the lead story. Not for people that know news. Not for people that are watching what's transpiring. Not for people that are paying attention to what's transpiring in the Bay Area. And guess what? It does not involve the Golden State Warriors. Oh, no. In Santa Clara, California, there is a team by the name of the San Francisco 49ers that is playing lights out in such a fashion that we're going to have to ignore the skeptical proclamations from the likes of Richard Sherman, who doesn't want to hear from a damn soul about how great the 49ers are if you weren't saying it at the beginning of the season. Richard Sherman has gone Michael Irvin on most of us. Keep the same intensity. Please don't lose the intensity. Keep the same intensity. Remember that? That's what Richard Sherman is demanding, and he has been demanding for weeks. But he's going to continue to demand that because it ain't going to work. After what we witnessed yesterday in New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, the San Francisco 49ers surviving a 48-46 win over the New Orleans Saints on the road, led by Jimmy Garoppolo, who played his best game as a San Francisco 49ers as far as I'm concerned. 349 yards passing, 26 of 35, 4 touchdowns, just 1 interception, completed the game with a 131.7 quarterback rating. He was special. No doubt about that. Okay, and the 1 touchdown he did not throw, Emmanuel Sanders threw a 35-yard hookup. I believe it was to Mostert, if I remember correctly, but I'm not sure. Nevertheless, here's the bottom line. The San Francisco 49ers, led by porn star Jimmy, who's now earning the name Jimmy G. That dude, right now, the San Francisco should be the favorites to come out of the NFC. The question is, should they be the favorites to win the Super Bowl? Who amongst you out there believe that the San Francisco 49ers are a better team than the Baltimore Ravens and should be favored in the event that they meet for a rematch? I might be one of those people. I'm not sure yet, but I might be one of those people after what I saw yesterday. Now, their defense was horrid. Drew Brees was picking them apart. He had 349 yards passing himself. Threw 5 touchdowns. Even rushed for a touchdown. Well, this is Drew Brees that we're talking about here. We got to give props and respect where it's due, even though his rush touchdown was just for 1 yard. Bottom line is, Drew Brees was flat out balling. Flat out balling. No real running game to speak of, even though Latavius Murray had 69 yards and just 7 carries. Michael Thomas being an all-world wide receiver that he is, courtesy of signing for $20 million a year just a few months ago, 11 receptions for 134 yards. If Jared Cook hadn't gotten concussed and ended up leaving the game, I mean, this is the guy that in the first half had 2 receptions for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 38-yarder. The other was a 26-yarder. Jared Cook was flat out balling, then got concussed, taken out of the game. That's what happens in the sport of football. You got more talent than the other dude. Don't really matter if they can cave your chest in or knock you senseless. That's how it goes in the National Football League. It's a man's game. But I want to be very, very clear. I want to take this moment because I don't want to take any props away from porn star Jimmy. He was something special. There is no denying that. We can't deny it. And for those of you out there that are offended that I call him porn star Jimmy, get over it. I'm not insulting him. It's not an insult to me. I'm just saying, if you show up in public with a porn star, knowing the cameras are going to be rolling, damn it, don't get over the fact that that might be your nickname. You knew mama would be watching. You still did it anyway. But that don't take away from you as a human being. Doesn't take away from your greatness as a quarterback. Doesn't take away from the level of productivity that you're putting out there for the San Francisco 49ers on a day in or a week in, week out basis. The dude's completing nearly 70% of his passes. Jimmy G has been flat out balling. We got to give credit where credit is due. I thought the touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders, that should have been intercepted. That was just a Hail Mary as far as I was concerned. But damn it was completed to Emmanuel Sanders for 75 yards. That was a touchdown. Got to give Jimmy G credit for that. Again, 69.5% of his passes completed, 3,245 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, just 11 interceptions, a 103.9 quarterback rating. I got to give credit where credit is due. Jimmy G is balling. Now, what I have been saying for weeks, not giving a damn about the fact that his quarterback rating has been about 110 over the last 8 weeks or so. I'm saying, look, when you think about the San Francisco 49ers, the first thing you think about is their defense. Primarily their pass rush. Second thing you think about is their number one or number two rushing attack. Third thing you think about is the play calling of Kyle Shanahan. Fourth thing you think about is Kittle, who might be the best tight end in football. Because he's just as gifted as Travis Kelce, but he blocks better. But I love my brother, Travis Kelce, now. And then we got that situation with Deebo Samuels. And Emmanuel Sanders may have been the biggest pickup you could find when he was ultimately traded from Denver. Look, you got to give credit where credit is due. I said you thought about all those things before you thought about Jimmy G. Porn star Jimmy became Jimmy G now. And we got to call him Jimmy G because he earned that nickname yesterday. Flat out balling. That was a big-time performance by Jimmy Garoppolo. Make no mistake about it. And he deserves our credit and our respect. And you got to elevate him in the eyes of the San Francisco 49ers if you're a potential opponent, because you got to find a way to neutralize him because the brother doesn't lose too many games. Jimmy Garoppolo, in his career as a starter, is 19-4 in 25 games. 19-4. I don't know how you get around that. 2-0 with New England, 17-4 with San Francisco. He's 19-4 overall as a starter in the National Football League. I can't ignore that. Can't ignore the job John Lynch is doing. Can't ignore the job that Kyle Shanahan is doing. Can't just forget and engage in selective amnesia, forgetting that the two-time Super Bowl champion that is Mike Shanahan is the proud papa of Kyle Shanahan. Now, we could point to nepotism all we want to, because certainly there's a plethora of people that don't get those opportunities in the National Football League, but it doesn't take away from the greatness of Mike Shanahan that was. The tutelage and counsel he passed down to his son, and how his son is doing a sensational job. As far as I'm concerned, Coach of the Year honors this season belongs to two people. Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. You could go to Baltimore Ravens route if you want to with John Harbaugh this year. But I think that's taken care of with Lamar Jackson getting league MVP honors, which I believe he will get. And speaking of league MVP honors, as it pertains to Lamar Jackson, let me be very, very clear as to why I think the race is over. I don't think Russell Wilson's going to catch him. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to catch him. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to catch him. I'm going to tell you why. Lamar Jackson, over the last 5 games, has not even thrown for 250 yards. Over the last 3 games, he hasn't even thrown for 200 yards. But he's still the leading candidate, according to Vegas odds, to capture league MVP honors. Why is that? Ladies and gentlemen, because he's the